Wildfires, right?
Yeah.
Devastating. Especially in a place like Los Angeles. I mean, a city surrounded by nature. It just feels like a disaster movie. But unfortunately, it's all too real this time.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, really complex. We've got this podcast script here, Los Angeles, in the grip of flames, lays it all out.
And it's pretty heavy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So let's dive in, get into the details of what's really happening on the ground.
Okay.
First off, this script paints a pretty grim picture. Hundreds of homes gone. Thousands of people forced to evacuate. When you read through this, what really hit you about the scale of the damage?
Well, the thing that struck me most, I think, is just how fast these fires spread, how intense they are.
Right.
The script talks about these Santa Ana winds, and they're kind of unique to this region.
Yeah.
And they just whip these flames around, push them across huge areas in almost no time. It's not just about the homes, it's entire ecosystem, like you said, going up in smoke.
It's heartbreaking. And of course, we can't talk about California wildfires without talking about climate change. But I feel like we often hear that as this blanket statement.
Yeah.
So can you unpack that for us? Like, how does climate change create the ideal conditions for these firestorms?
Yeah, I think sometimes people oversimplify it.
Right.
They just think, oh, it's a little hotter, a little drier. But it's way more than that. It's like, imagine you have this really intricate system, and then something throws it completely off balance.
Yeah.
That's what climate change does. So you have higher temperatures, which means faster evaporation, right?
Uh-huh.
So even if you do get some rain, the plants, the trees, everything just dries out way quicker.
Turning everything into kindling, basically.
Exactly. You get these prolonged droughts, too, putting even more stress on the ecosystem, making it more vulnerable. It's this really bad cycle.
And then sometimes all it takes is one tiny spark from us humans.
Oh, absolutely. Even a little thing.
Yeah.
The script, it mentions this case where a car, just a normal car, its catalytic converter overheated, and that heat on some dry grass, that was it, started this huge brush fire.
Wow.
It's kind of scary to think about how even a seemingly small thing,
It can have these massive consequences.
yeah, in this kind of high-risk environment.
Exactly. So now you've got these raging fires, and the firefighters are on the front lines trying to contain this inferno. And the script really highlights how unbelievably challenging that job is. What are some of the biggest obstacles they face?
Well, imagine, right, you're trying to fight this fire, but it's moving faster than you can even run,
Yeah.
fueled by these crazy winds and bone-dry brush. It's almost impossible to keep up.
Yeah.
And it's not just about putting out the flames. It's about protecting people, homes, infrastructure. The script talks about these tactics they use, like controlled burns. They're basically fighting fire with fire in a way,
Yeah.
trying to direct the path of the fire. And they cut these fire lines, too, trying to stop it from spreading. It's like this high-stakes game against nature, really.
And then there's the human cost of all of this,
Yeah.
which is just immeasurable. The story that stuck with me was this family who lost their home, and they described it as watching their memories turn to ash.
It's so powerful, that image. And those stories, they really bring home the true impact of this disaster. It's not just about the immediate loss. It's the emotional trauma, the way communities are torn apart, the really long road to recovery.
Yeah, it goes so much deeper.
Absolutely. But the script also, I think it does a good job highlighting the positive side, too. The way people come together in these situations, the neighbors, volunteers, organizations, they all offer support. It's really amazing.
It really shows you the resilience of the human spirit.
Yeah, for sure.
This whole deep dive has really driven home how interconnected everything is. Climate change, human actions, these devastating consequences.
Mm.
And it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a lot to take in, but I think awareness is the first step.
Right.
Really recognizing how all these factors play together and how deeply it affects people's lives. That's crucial.
So for everyone listening, we've talked about the science behind these wildfires, the challenges firefighters face, the heartbreaking stories of loss. Now, I think it's time to turn the lens inward. What resonates with you most from this conversation? What steps, even small ones, can you take in your own life to address this incredibly complex issue? Because even amidst the destruction, remember, there's always hope. Communities rebuild, adapt, they find ways to move forward. And that's a testament to the human spirit. And it's a reminder that we have the power to create a more resilient future.
Well said.
Let's all do our part.